Hi friends, today we're going to go over your independent work for step 2. So let's go over the directions first, and then we're going to go into it with a little review and then going over the work. So first things first, we have to look at sources A, B, C, D, and E. We're going to read them or we could listen to them by pressing the audio button. And then we're going to use the highlighter tool to highlight words, phrases, or sentences that support the Federalist position in yellow and the Anti-Federalist position in purple. Finally, we're going to answer the questions at the end of these slides. So let's look at it together. First things first, what's a Federalist? We have to remember that these Federalists are people in New York at the time that fully support the Constitution. They want a stronger federal government, and they feel like federal governments that are strong would make the United States unified against other nations. They want this strong central government making laws for everybody throughout the nation so that everyone is on the same page. No need for amendments. It's the end-all be-all. This is what's going to be said, and this is what the people need to follow. And a lot of these Federalists are from more urban areas, the more populated places in New York at this time. Now let's take a look again at those New York Anti-Federalists. They think that the Constitution is too oppressive. It's like having a king again. They want a Bill of Rights to protect individuals. They want a stronger local government. They want their state to have some say in what's going on. And if a constitution is to come about, they want the ability to put amendments in to help protect the people down the line in the future. These are more rural people who aren't living in those big cities at this time. Here were some of our key players. Remember them? They're saying hi again. You're going to see over the next couple sources, you are going to see some from Hamilton, one from John Jay, one from Clinton, and other people in New York at this time. So let's look at the first one together. We can press the audio button or we can read it together. We have source A, the important role of the Anti-Federalists during the ramification fight. So look at the words, look in and around the text. If we're seeing important role of the Anti-Federalist, we have to think, is this going to be for the Federalist or for the Anti-Federalist? Who would think that they're being important at this time? Let's look at the next source. George Clinton and Robert Yates and Samuel Bryan. Who were these people? Were they Federalist or Anti-Federalist? We just saw previously that they were indeed Anti-Federalist. So we're going to see some information here that are going to be supportive of Anti-Federalist, if they're saying it. We see source C, New York and the Federalist Papers. We see John Jay in here. He was a Federalist, so we're probably going to see some information supporting the Federalists in this document. Source D, the Federalist Papers. We're going to see some information that are probably going to be supportive of the Federalists. We have to look for the information that they're telling us if it's for the Constitution or against the Constitution. We see Alexander Hamilton, a quote in source E. Remember, Hamilton was a Federalist. He wanted that strong central government. So we need to look at the information and then think, how is this supportive of a Federalist versus supportive of an Anti-Federalist at this time? So let's go into your work that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to look at those highlights that you made as you were reading or listening. You're going to have to identify 3 reasons that the Federalists use to support their argument for ratification and 3 reasons that Anti-Federalists use for supporting their argument against ratification. Remember, ratification means approving the Constitution, and against ratification means they don't want to approve the Constitution. You're going to identify the source letter and write these reasons in your own words. So let's do one together. Let's go back to Hamilton, and we're going to do this together. Let's read and find the important information for the source. So going back, we're in source E, and we're going to look at it together. The strength of government is essential to the security of liberty. Their interest can never be separated. So he's saying that the strength of the government is essential to being free. So I think that's really Federalist. So I'm going up to that highlight button, and I'm going to highlight that information. I'm putting it in yellow. Now let's look and see what James Madison said. You must first enable the government to control the governed, and in the next place, make it necessary to control itself. It kind of seems like he's saying that the government needs that power in order to be able to make real change occur. They need to be able to have say. And as we remember from our previous studies, before the Constitution, when we had those Articles of Confederation, that they needed something stronger in place so that everyone would listen. So I'm going to take my info, and I have highlighted it, and now I'm going to go back to that last slide. And this was source E. So I'm going to put my source E. And my reason's going to be for Federalists, because Hamilton was a Federalist and he's in support of a strong central government. Federalist info from source E. I came up with the idea in my own words that the government needs to be strong to protect the freedoms of the people living there. And in order to be united and be strong, the government must first have the power to unite. And thinking about this, they're not going to have the power to unite unless they have a strong federal government. So my friends, your job now is to go back into the sources and find reasons for why we need a strong federal government coming from those Federalists, and reasons why at the time we don't need a strong government that's centralized through the Constitution coming from those Anti-Federalists. I can't wait to see all the great information that you highlight and how you think deeply about that information and put it into your own words for the Federalist reasons that we should have a Constitution and the Anti-Federalist reasons why we shouldn't have a Constitution. Bye for now, friends.